Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to IHRFAQ on Human Resource Management. Today we're going to talk about overtime. First thing first, the definition of overtime is the amount of time an employee works beyond normal working hours. An employee is entitled for overtime if that employee exceeds the normal hours of work as specified in a contract of service. For an example, if they're expected to work 9 to 5, the hours of work beyond 5 is considered as overtime. Next, as stated in the Employment Act, the maximum overtime hours permitted for an employee is 104 hours per month. What is ordinary rate of pay? According to the Employment Act, definitions of the rate of pay is the wages which an employee is entitled to receive under a contract of service for the normal hours of work done by them. Ordinary rate of pay can be calculated on a daily, weekly, or monthly basis. What are the overtime rates? The rate on a normal day's work is 1.5 times the hourly rate of pay. On a rest day's work are 2 times the hourly rates of pay. And on a public holiday's work, 3 times the hourly rate of pay. Now, I'm going to show how to calculate overtime on a normal day. First, take the basic salary, divided by 26 days, divided by 8 hours, and you will get the hourly rate of pay. Next, take the hourly rate of pay, times it with 1.5. This is then multiplied by the number of hours which the employee has worked in a month for overtime. Then you get a total overtime of normal day in that particular month. Similarly, how to calculate overtime for a rest day? The formula is still the same, but the hourly rate is multiplied by 2 times. Then, that is multiplied by the number of hours which the employee has worked in that month. Now, for the public holidays is also the same, but the hourly rate is multiplied by 3 times. Then, that is multiplied by the number of hours which the employee has worked in that month. Should an employee working on shift work exceeds 48 hours in the first 2 weeks of the month? Is this employee entitled to overtime? In the Employment Act, there is no overtime need to be paid if the average hours worked over a period of 3 weeks does not exceed 48 hours. As you can see in the table, is an example of hours of work from Monday till Saturday, which to be summed up to 48 hours per week. Under what circumstances can an employee be compelled to work overtime? First, if there is an emergency at the workplace, such as a major accident to the workplace or machines breakdown. Second, if the work performed by the employee is essential to the life of the community, such as the employee work in water work department and something is happening at the reservoir. Next, work performed by the employee is essential to the defense or security of the country, such as a soldier or a police officer. Another situation is when urgent repair work has to be carried on important equipments, which is very essentials to the company's operations. Next, where there is interruption at work which is impossible to foresee, such as machines breakdown, which is beyond foreseeing. Lastly, the work performed in any essential services means services by whomsoever rendered, and whether rendered to the government or to any other person, the interruption of which would endanger the life, health, or personal safety of the whole or part of the population. That's all for IHR FAQ on overtime. See you again in our other episode of FAQ.